Big cat, how you came to be is no longer a mystery. Black sheep is your birthright. It's code for the one who brings the light. I bet if there's a crack, you don't fall back. Remember who you are. No rest for the wicked with their skullduggery. The use spell workers' projection to send out envy, hate, and jealousy. You are the prototype, your ancestors champion. They shield you and send back those spiritual attacks. You are divinely protected from the dummy bats. Yeah. Big cat, the most high, got your back. He sits high and looks low, so don't get smoked or smoke yourself. Big cat, moving silence. Only time you speak is to say checkmate.
Namaste! Grand Rising, Big Cat. Welcome or welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555 for your message or massages. Come in, come on. I've got intel. Recon is afoot. Energies up, up, up. I insist. As we dive in and unpack, darling, just because why? They ain't on your level or your frequency. Why did they keep sending you all of that energy? Loud the big cat. Free the big cat. Here, here. Free the big cat. They won't let you off the hook. You've ignored them. You don't speak on them. You don't think about them. No one's checking for them. Boo! But yet, they still hang on like Klingons. And this ain't Star Trek, blood. This is what real life on this 3D. And all they can do is think about you, darling dears. Let's dive in. I've got the dice, darling dears, and I've got a fancy cup and a fancy board. It's a dice tray, but I set it up with a low-shoed grid. Chinese astrology, darling dears. Each of the 9 squares is based on the Pythagorean theorem, loosely, darling dears. But it can tell you about your life, your children, your health, and all this and that. But I like to use it to my own purposes as the Pythagorean grid with the 9 and use it according to those terminologies. If you want to know more about the low show grid, hit me up in the Gmail and I will surely make a video on how you can actually do the reading yourself. All right. Excuse me, s'il vous plaît. Let's give it a good shufty. Let's see what happens. Because they won't allow them. Free the big cat, blood. Good golly and gosh. Hey, hey. Look, I don't want it to move. Not even a squinch of an inch. You, darling dears, are on a 9. The energy of the 9 is what? I told you, you don't deal with these bottom feeders, these scums of the earth, these scumbags. You also have the energy of a what? An 8, darling dears. The energy of the 8th house is the 8. The house of karma and money, darling dear. So somebody's going through it. It also speaks about joint finances. Maybe it's an ex-partner, or maybe you lived in that person's house. Whatever the circumstance and situations you've let go of it, darling dears. Dos Vidania, you got Russian up in this bitch. Yes, you did. When you said love and light, that's 2 of these and 1 of those. Let's dive in. Excuse me. The energy of the 8, your birthday could be the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th, darling dears. Your luckiest numbers over the next few days will be 2, 4, and 8. Your luckiest days will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The letters associated with the number 8 is H, Q, and Z. Okay. The number 8 is ruled by the planet Saturn, and we know Saturn don't play, darling dear. Saturn comes through with responsibilities and structure. It's about your focus and your discipline. This is why they've got their cheap lace thongs on, darling dears, riding up into places that's got them at hockey sticks at dawn. And who are they picking on? You, bestie. They won't free the big cat. Anyhow, let's press on. The energy of the 8, darling dears, it speaks about money. Yes, baby. Skrilla.com, darling dears. So you've made some kind of investment. It could be a business investment, darling dears. The 8th house is the house of what? Spirituality. So whatever you invested in, darling dears, on a spiritual level, it could be a spiritual business, or you what? Had faith in your ancestral team. May I remind you of the ancestral team? For you to get here at this moment in time, darling dears, it took 64 souls. You are the epitome of 64 souls. You are that X. The X comes with Phoenix. Okay, you are from the ashes, baby. Anytime you are unsure and feel alone, remember there's 64 souls watching everything you do. Listen, don't leave your bit. Yeah, that's right. They see everything. The 8th house, they saw everything you did. It's the house of intimacy and SEX. Anyhow, all of these ancestors put forward all of their gifts and their efforts to help you overcome, because you came back as a volunteer, darling dears. You didn't come here to be one of what? Those NPCs. You came to get into the thick of it. We came from what? The most abysmal early years, darling dears, but it didn't break us until we broke away. That's when we really came into ourselves, darling dears. They come in for your everything. All right. Take a screenshot, darling dears. It will last longer. Anytime you feeling like you is alone. 64 souls is on your side. Right. Anyhow, let's press on, darling dears. Let's press on. Like I was saying, you've got the energy of the 8. The 8 speaks about movement, darling dears. Some form of change you've attained. It also speaks about what? You've come to a level of mastery, darling dears. And when you become a master on a level, it's time for you to find a new group. It looks, as I said, you may be getting into the occult. Occult can be many things. Astrology, numerology, Chinese astrology, palmistry, a pendulum, whatever it is, your intuition is litty. You was guided to be different, darling dears. They're mad that you got away and you're capitalizing on your gifts. Yeah. They chose the route with the cheap lace thong. Let's give that a minute. Why they mad at you? You didn't give them that wedgie. They gave it to themselves. Ha ha! Anyhow, let's press on, darling dears. It also speaks about success. You are making what? Steady progress, because you are now mature of mind, body, and soul. Why? You gave your soul free will to guide you, darling dears, in your deepest, darkest moment. 8th house also speaks about what? The DNS, darling dears. The dark night of the soul. Energy of 33 cats in the house at this moment in time. You are what? A master manifestor, darling dears. Divine is encouraging you to what? Share your voice and your vision. It's about you what? Elevating others. You are a spiritual teacher, and some of the lessons that you are sent to teach, darling dears, is by your absence. Never you ever underestimate the power of your light. When you take that power grid back, you leave those creatures in the backwoods. Yes, baby, the ones with yarn for hair. All right. Let's press on, darling dears. You also have the energy of the 2. The 2 speaks about travel. If you've got travel plans, they're going to be going extremely well over the next few days, darling dears. It tells me that you're going to be getting compliments. You'll be getting gifts, darling dears. If it's a business, the business is going to go well. And maybe you're traveling for business, or you will be. Traveling is in many forms, not just physical, darling dears. It could be on the what? Internet, darling dears. Remember, I told you that. But a contract is about to be signed. Why? Because the 8th house is joint finances, blood. And that also does not necessarily mean just in a marriage or a relationship. When you get a contract, you're joining finances, blood. Yeah. But don't tell anyone, bestie. They're too nosy. We've got to keep it amongst us. And so far, we're nearly 20,000 of us on this stage, this stage of life. And we are all main characters on our own show. So they want to push you around, darling dears. They see you in your authority. They see you as being ambitious and in your power. That same power outage they wanted to give in your life. Don't you remember your hairline? Bestie, oi. how pitchy patchy it was. It was like Nyam Nyam grass head. What's going on? Let's press on. The energy of the 8, darling dear, speaks about what trouble coming your way. I can't make it up. They're coming to be blame shifting and mean, darling dears. But in order to blame you for something that you haven't done, or because you're what? Fabulous, gorgeous, and lovely, take a shout out to yourself, big cat. You pea, glitter, shit, cupcakes, and fart rainbows. And you live in many a feeble mind when they should be focusing on their own devilish deeds. I digress. Let's carry on. You also have the energy of what? The 2, 6, darling dears. Lean in, bestie. This speaks about what? Good luck. Yeah. Shall follow you, as well as what? Wisdom and mercy, darling dears, as well as the good graces of the Most High. Father, God, Mother, Isis. Continue to make the what? Right choices, darling dears. You are in a season of Dharma. What's that? Good karma, blood. You're having good karma, darling dears, because of what you overcame. The number 8 is also represented by the Strength card and the Star card. Big Cat, Leo energy, Star card, Aquarius energy. The Leo energy is the 5th house. It's about your creativities, darling dears, because you're different. But you're different, why? Because of the Star card. You are a star. Not only that, the Star card, Aquarius energy, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Uranus says you're a rebel, darling dears. You're different. Vive la différence. Don't change for no one, blood. It also speaks about the sudden change. The Strength card also is a reminder of what? Being drama-free, blood. I like to go to my bed and sleep like a newborn babe. I don't like to be in my bed clutching my duvet. Alone with a wandering mind in the dark, blood. Yeah. No, the DNS is not for me. Bonfire for that. Nope. I ain't going back, blood. I will fight. I told you. What's that? Sammy G, you're born on the 8th of July. Good golly and gosh, lucky numbers. And 8 is a lucky number in Chinese astrology. I believe it's the number 8, the number 6, and you'd have to get a rain check on the last one. I can't think of it right now. But because I'm on a roll, I've got something else going on, darling dears. Anyhow, before I break it up again, the energy of the 6 speaks about cooperation. You may have, somebody's going to come to you, darling dears, because the 6 also speaks about a medical issue, darling dears. Somebody's going to come to you to lean on your sympathy, darling dears. Right? Because they've already run your empathy ragged, darling dears. Don't you remember the rocks of life? Bestie, who wants the rocks of life? Not me. And if you're going, we're going to have to break up the friendship, darling dears, because I can't visit you and I won't write you. Why? Law number 10, avoid the unlucky and unhappy. Anyhow, let's press on, darling dears. Yeah. The 8th house, darling dears, the house of intimacy, but it's also the house of death. Somebody's going to be coming and telling you, darling dears, they have a medical issue or a medical emergence. It's on the threat of death, darling dears, but you've already put down the situation. Are you really going to dip your toe back into the pool of what? Spiritual deficit piranha? Are you? Are you, bestie? Oh, child, tell me, I'll get popcorn. Well, not popcorn, I'll get what? Plantain chips in a sealed bag, because I eat from no one, blood. But anyway, I digress again. I'm a chatty cat. And as I said many times, you don't come here for the communicative dance. Let's move on, darling dears, and put this high. Let's get Saturn to remind us of the energy of the rules and the regulations. Saturn is also what? Karma, darling dears. It's also what? The ruler of time. And it comes through today for you with the truth roof. Pinkies up. Tell yourself the truth in every situation. In the number 6 in Chinese, or should I say on the Loshu grid, darling dears, it speaks about helpful people, friends. It also speaks about travel, darling dears. Your comings and goings are going to be covered. And I said some kind of journey. It may be physically or in the intellect. Something in specific is coming through for you, darling dears, because they wouldn't be getting rambunctious in the crevice of the devil's balls if something good wasn't happening for you. And how, pray tell, will they know? Listen, no one watches you closer than a hater that's jealous. Sock it to him, bestie. Suck it to him. And you're saying, but how? I'm not continue to be you, blood. Every breath you take, every move you make, they be watching you. Yeah, pinky's up and they're mad. Greetings, Randon Jones. Haven't seen you in a while. Universal on love encode. Fist bumpity bump and a big cat wave. Are you fabulous, gorgeous, and lovely? I am. This sounds like a gossiping read. Listen, we don't gossip, darling dears. We just exchange ideas. I tell you what the card said, and we laugh together. And we didn't tell anyone. Listen, if you see a crisis on its way to a what? A major what? Run in. Do you interrupt them? No. Who are you to interrupt the plans that the Most High has for them? Who are you? Didn't I tell you the 8th house is karma, karmic debt? You are in Dharma at the moment. Why would you want to bring on that level of subterfuge and bull swanky onto your back? Especially, let me tell you something. Bestie, lean in. Because you can have someone in a family member, a friend, whatever, and they can make a mistake and underestimated your gangster. But they came back with a legitimate apology, explained what they did, why they did, but they didn't come with a but. It was a you could maybe forgive them, but you'll never have them close again. But you see the one that pretended to be your friend, darling, be your friend. The whole time they were scheming, planning, plotting. They had what? Schedulers, darling dears. On their phone calendar, in their phone, darling dears, they've got incidents about you so that they can bring it back and rub your face in it. Well, guess what? If they want to rub their face in the bones of something that does not belong to you, why? You've already forgiven yourself. I put up an affirmation, darling dears, a prayer. I already put it up on this channel. Read that shit. You've forgiven yourself and them for things that you've done and unknowingly done. You've claimed back all of your energy. This is why they going into what? Metaphoric madness in the crevice of the devil's balls, I might add. And that's the what? Truth roof. The energy of the 6th, darling dears, speaks about the what? The responsibility you have. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. The number 6 is represented by the astrological aspect of a sextile, darling dears. This can be a lazy aspect. They slept on a big cat. They slept on a big cat. Poor Tink Tink. We don't care about Tink. Fuck Tink Tink. Yeah. F Tink Tink. Down with Tink Tink. Boo. Outrageous, I know, darling dears. But then again, there's no rest for the wicked. They've got nothing else to do. Let's get some intuitive cards that I put together from the back. Which one should we use? It's telling me to go to this one. Base of the deck, darling dears. The universe is telling you whatever you like. Something big is coming in for you, darling. There's 62 in the room, and that's what? A number 8. We've also got what? 28 likes. That is the energy of a 10. You've ended a situation. It was just 28. It was just on the what? A 2 and the 8, darling dears. I can't make it up. The synchronicities. Also go and look at the angel number 2828, 64, and we've got 29. There's messages for you, darling dears. So they're really mad. Okay. Look. This back, front, neck, tabbing. Judas, didn't I tell you they put on their own cheap lace thong and it's riding up on them, right? What they're coming through is too little, too late, right? And it will be on the wings of lies, subterfuge, and bull swanky. You better crush you, oi. You better have gotten rid of those rose-colored glasses, darling dears. Because they're going to come through and try and make it all nice with you, darling dears. Everything's sweet, but they don't want to talk about nothing in the past. They don't want to talk about how they cut you to the white meat, how they continue to what? Sling mud on your name, darling dears. Tarnish your godly character, your big cat prototype, right? Character with the badass alchemist ways. This Judas. Didn't they realize when you said goodbye, you meant it's toe tagging season for them, blood? Because you're not coming back. Worried about what the big cat's got. Look! They come back with vengeance in their heart. Listen, they had what? A victim, right? At the gate. And they're coming in with trinkets, darling. There's the same trinkets, right? That they took to any what? Merchant of slander, any dummy bat, feeble-minded bottom feeder that would listen. But only someone that wants to listen to that subterfuge is what? Going for it themselves, darling. They're living a worse aura life than what is being intimated to them. What's this? They would love to have your blindfold on. The bell. Confirmation, darling dears. Confirmation. They're hoping that you've forgotten. Or maybe you're silly. Are you silly, big cat? Oh. Wait. We've put our past behind us like a ponytail. We unsillied ourselves. What's going on? Right? Yeah. They're trying to make you feel isolated from a situation that you said, what? Love and light. And see you never. Yeah. Maybe you was meant to feel isolated in that situation. Why? Because you're a big cat. And bending the matrix is what you do. Why? Because you've got the gifts and the strengths of 64 souls at your back. And you lead with the 6 G's, gods, goals, gifts, greatness, growth, and gratitude, darling dears. Be grateful, because there are many right now envying your life. 35 likes in here, and again we're back at the 8, darling dears. When they ate you as a big cat, you 9 them with their effing trinkets. They can take their effing trinkets, right, climb up on a big ladder and dive off that ladder with their trinkets into their mama. Don't judge me. I told you I'm Jamaican. And so are you when you come here. Right. Let's press on. What does your ancestors think about that? Let's get the witch's oracle wisdom. What do your ancestors think about this? Let's give it a good shufty. Too little, too late. And they're full of vengeance, hate. Just imagine how heavy that energy is. Just imagine how going into that energy now at this stage of the game, when you've understood that you are the professor of the puzzle, how it's going to trigger you, darling dears. You're going to see their little counterfeit ways, darling dears. Their efforts to make you feel less than when you are more than always was, always will be. You are that bitch, that garçon. Remember I told you that. Fist bump. Millie de la Prida, big cat wave. Hey, kind of surprise, new faces in these places. You're welcome to Don't Get Smoked Central. It's a lot of cards, blood. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, darling dears. And X marks the spot of the phoenix rising. It's a metaphoric rise. You see, in the upright, you can't see the shape of you, what? Breaking out of this paradigm. Many, what? Negative aspersions were cast on your name. And when they speak in a group, darling dears, that is like a ritualistic spell. Why? Because they're jealous. Listen, I don't know if there's a cure for jealousy, blood. Because if they was jealous before, wait till May comes. Because we already been saying this, darling dears. May. Something significant is going to break in your life, darling dears. Maybe it's this contract you're about to sign. Maybe you're going to weigh it up. Because I told you, we ain't going to make, well, I'm not. Me personally, because I'm an astrologer, a Western astrologer, I do Chinese astrology, I ain't making no major decisions or moves until after the 10th of May, when we have the new moon in Pisces, darling dears. I've already done the video. Go and watch that to see. I've done it for the sun, moon, and rising signs. Go and see where the new moon in Pisces is going to affect you, what astrological house, because you'll be armed and dangerous and still preparing yourself for May. What they was trying, darling dears, negativity. Something was also signed, darling dears. A signature was forged. Yeah, from death to rebirth. This is like the death card on its face, darling dears. on its face. They've got nothing but inertia and stagnancy foretold for them, darling dears. It also speaks about, as I said, somebody's going to come through and tell you that they're going to need some form of cooperation. Like I said, they're coming through with the illness, right? Not the illness of being what? Fucked up, a back front neck tabber, jealous, bottom feeder. Oh my God. Good golly and gosh. And the death card in tarot is the astrological house, the 8th house, darling dears. They're going down Bobby Brown. It also speaks about spiritual attachments. Whatever they try to send your way, darling dears, it's been sent back. We've got 2 8s here. The energy of the 88 is telling you that you're going to have more opportunities are about to present themselves, where you're going to be able to what? Earn more. Skrilla.com, darling dears. Divine, your ancestral team, your way showers and spiritual guides want you to stay focused, right, on what's important to you. Remember, those people wanted you what? Barking at passing cars, in prison with R. Kelly, or pushing up daisies so they could come and sing Amazing Grace at your funeral in a falsetto with no tears on their face, darling dears. Just making it a foot race to the after the funeral food, darling dears. They just come to eat and still shit talk you in your grave, darling dears. This is how bad it is. Ah, Jesus, what's going on here? Yeah, the same ones that will never tell you the truth of their envy, jealousy, and hate, darling dears. What's this? What did I tell you? Dedication. There is an altar in your name, darling dears. You better protect yourself. Bestie, I told you. Your ancestors are here. Yes, they can help you, but you have to, you are in the 3D, the physical. You have to take the choice. Get your what? Obsidian black crystals. Your black tourmaline. Have one in your vehicle. Have one in your handbag, your purse, your wallet. Get yourself, look, I've got my obsidian. Listen, I never leave the house without it. The only time I part with any of my crystals on my body or in my house is at the full moon to cleanse them. And even then, I'm on the stairs early in the morning to get them back. You have an altar in your name, darling dears. So you have to be very careful because, like I said, the 8th house is also the house of death, but it's also the house of karmic debt. These people or this person is not afraid of God. They're not, and listen, I don't know which book they've been reading, but it can't be the good book, whatever your religion might be. Yeah, you have a foot in both worlds, darling dears. You come with the yin and yang of it all. It's again about the balance, about you being able to harmonize situations. They didn't realize that your energy is what made their life bearable. They don't like the fact that you've continued to find this balance in your individualism. You've created true values for yourself, darling dears. Because again, as I said, bringing you back around to the Saturn energy. Some of you are going into the laws, a legal situation. And divine is reminding you to stick to your principles. Don't be tempted by an under the table offer, darling dears. Because you're being backed by 64 ancestors. Sometimes you have to remember you came back just to be the karma for them. But they had free will. They had choice. And they chose to what? Put on that cheap lace thong. And now they're big mad. Because you got the balance. Batty Crown, big cat wave. Glad you could pop in, darling dear, on your busy day. Yeah, like I was saying, they got vengeance for you, yeah? And they're not pretending. Right, let me move this over. Okay, remember the big cat fell on the 9, darling dears. You've ended this situation. And the 9 is also the 9th house, The 9th house is the house of the higher courts. This is not your fight. This is not for you to sit down and waste your energy thinking, well, it could be this person, it could be that person. Well, guess what? The 9th house is about your in-laws, right? Yes, it is. The 8th house is a partner, family member, somebody you lived with, okay? What else did we have out here? We've got the energy of the 1st house. Put yourself first, darling dears. Your outward behavior must be a mask as far as they're concerned. You've got nothing to give their particular public. The 1st house is also what? Be careful of accidents. I told you they've been in ritual. They have an altar in your name. Let's get a deck. Four of Cups. You better disappoint these dickheads and dummy bats, darling dears. And it also speaks about a mistake. Somebody feels as though they underestimated you, darling dears. And it also speaks about people being in company, in a group. This is somebody, this is laughter, enjoying what? Bringing your name down, darling dears. We're seeing a lot of the sacral chakra here. It's your confidence they was trying to attack. That's what they attacked when you was there. They tried to make you feel less than in that situation because you are more than a conqueror. Because you are that rebel. You are that different, darling dears. And you're doing that damn thing. Never stop until the wheels fall off. Damn, you can see nothing. And what? Life has them by the proverbial balls. And they're mad as F at you. It's not your fault that they've got that disease of jealousy and F-upness. It's not your fault. Tell us some more information about these people or this person, this back front neck tabbing Judas, right? Oh, told you it's a group of people, darling dears. They're speaking about you a lot. Lots of mental energy, lots of verbal energy, darling dears. 8 of Swords in the reverse is a lot of negative energy. And what? The Hermit came out with another 8. Bringing up all of your past situations, darling dears. And it's because they're too, how can I put it? Too blind. Because we already saw the blindfold. Where did it go? Oh, it's in the middle of the day. We already saw the blindfold, darling dears. They're not looking at the fact that they're creating all of this karma. Why don't they leave you alone? Free the big cat. I'm going to break these cards down and see a little bit more about what's going on here. Let's get another deck. We'll get the tiny cards. Hermit in the reverse, darling dears. That's Virgo energy. Virgo's ruled by Mercury. Mercury is about your thoughts, your mind. This is bad. This is a bad-minded set, darling dears. They don't wish no one well. Anybody excelling. You could have what? I don't know. Your pinky may be bent. I don't know. All right, then let me just break it down. They hate your eyelashes, okay? They hate your eyelashes. And you're saying my eyelash? Yes, they hate them because they're attached to you. Right. This is a group, darling dears. They're like a pack of what? Bottom feeders, darling dears. Clueless. They're feeling isolated within themselves, darling dears. They're continuing to repeat everything over and over. Their life is, they're in stagnation, inertia, they're stuck, and they hate your guts. Because you what? You are doing the damn thing. The 2 of Pentacles, yeah. You barely got out with 2 of Pentacles by the skin of your teeth, darling dears. This is about you being able to manage your mental health, your responsibilities, right? The water at the back of you is telling you about all of the negative vibes behind you, the things that you actually turned your shapely back on, gave butt cheeks to, darling dears. And those ships, those arrows, those negative words wasn't able to touch you, right? When you left, darling dears, but they haven't forgotten you. Hermit energy. They still talk about you all of the time. But your ancestors say, who do I talk about? Who they talking about? You are being protected, darling dears. Divine wants you to what? Because when you see the Temperance, it's about your time and your money management. Listen, none of us know the day, the hour, the minute, right? Why would you want to waste your time rehashing something that made your hairline pitchy patchy? Why? Love your life long time, darling dear. Base of the deck, Queen of Swords styly, darling dears. You've got their see-through pamphlet. You know exactly whom these persons are. You don't need to sit down and worry about this or worry about that. You've already cut them off. You were surgical, darling dears. 2 major arcana, but you was divinely guided to what? Go solo dolo, because you would have never had the level of growth, because the 8th house is also about growth. Law number 20, don't commit to anyone like that ever again. Give all of your good to the bad. Look at that lady, Tisa Risa. Anyone can be hoodwinked. Don't think you're special, darling dears. Continue to what? Law 25, reinvent thyself. I'm not the same cat I was 5 minutes ago. Law 31, you control the options, darling dears, and continue to act like the baddest of them all, the emperor or empress that you are. You are Khaleesi or Khal, and you hold the whip, and he or she who holds the whip runs things. Yeah, you had to leave that situation spiritually guided, but it also speaks about a new beginning. Somebody, maybe even somebody that you was possibly in an entanglement with, darling dears. They want to come back. They remember your loyalty. Is this 2 queens? Yeah, 2 queens on the table. That's the gossip. Whenever you see 2 queens, darling dears, that's the gossip, right? The person giving and the other ones, darling dears, they're loving that shit. They love it. Whomsoever they're gossiping to, darling dears, it turns them on. Tell me something more about this Queen of Cups next to the Eight of Swords, darling dears. And this fell above. This could also represent the God card in tarot. They think they're above God. I told you they're not scared of God. It also speaks about gathering more information on the situation. Somebody's doing some major spying. Listen, if spying had a picture, the picture would be overcrowded, blood. They'd have to have appendices to fit in all the pictures, darling dears. The spying, the castations, the stabations. And it also speaks about what? Somebody's going for a lot of ruminating thoughts, darling dears. Because I'm telling you, when you're jealous of someone, right, it eats away at you. And then you see your 64 ancestors, right? They're petty. So they're allowing them to think about you, darling dears. They're allowing them to what? Go and watch you online, find out information about you. Because everything they hear is like what? Acid. Acid on them, darling dears. That's what it feels like to them. This is why they try to bring you down, all of these swords in your back, but this is the back they will never even get to see in the flesh again, let alone get close enough to put a blade in it. They cut you to the white meat. They didn't think about the back end. 3 of Wands on its face, darling dears. These liars and, was it lying, cheating, thieves? Oh my. Yeah, they want to come back. I told you, look at all of the swords that come out. You've got the 8 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, the King and the Queen. And now you've got the lying, cheating, back front neck tabbing snake, who's what? Repeating negative cycles that would like to come back into your situation. I told you they're going to come on the wings of a death or near death or some kind of medical emergency, right? Which is not your burden, darling dears. There's no love in that situation, no emotion. That relationship is over. It's finito. As I said, Dos for Dania, Ace of Cups on its face, blood. If you go back into that situation, this Ace of Cups in the reverse is a reminder that you will be what? Depressed, disappointed, let down, and your hairline will be pitchy patchy. How about that? Love your hairline, blood. Allow them. This is fall back. In Jamaica, we call it what? Cutting our 10. What's that? Crossing our legs at the ankle, darling. There's relax. Think about the situation. The energy of the 4. Why now? Why now? Why do I feel like I'm being attacked? Why is my left ear always burning me? Why do these people keep coming into my dreams? Why now? Because you are at breakthrough, darling dear. A burglar will never break into an empty house. These same ones that put you in this position expected you to what? Disappear. Spontaneously combust or beg them back for their energy. Queen of Wands. It speaks about what? Your intuition. You was guided to leave that situation by any means necessary. The Queen of Wands is fancy with her thoughts. She plans, plots, and strategizes. But all of this, I'm not telling you any of this was easy for you. It wasn't easy. But anything worth having does not come easy. Let's split the deck. Divine, the universe wants to give you whatever you like. We saw that at the beginning of the read. We were told before we were born that our life will be full of many troubles. Why would you want to add to your tableau what you've already healed yourself from? You can't save no one unless they save themselves. You can give them a pointer, but it's their path to take. And as a what? Hiyoka, you are a super empath. When they are going through their shits naive, you feel their pain. Why would you want to carry those what? Devilish burdens on yourself when they are jealous, and a jealous person is a schemer, and that person will have you down, Bobby Brown. Why? When the universe is trying to give you this. 71 likes. Again, we have the 8. This is your time, darling dears. This is your season. This person or people is just looking for someone to share in their karma. And they're coming with trinkets for you, darling dears. Trinkets. What's behind the trinkets? You've already educated yourself on what happened. You got the crash course, you have the t-shirt. And they come to kill your vibes, blood. Listen, my vibes. my peace? Ain't nobody got time for that. You better look. What that man say? They're coming. Hide your wives, hide your husband, hide your kids. Yeah. Because they're coming to pillage, loot. And what they can't pillage and loot, darling dears, they will destroy. So before you think about leaving a breadcrumb, remember how far you've come. Remember the fire of the phoenix that you have from within. Remember that you are learned, darling dears. You get a lot of spiritual downloads. Remember the things you wrote down, darling dears, when you were going through your DNS, your dark night of the soul, when you had no one because you didn't realize you had your 64 ancestors to call on. And as I say ancestors, they don't play, darling dears. And behold, you have a fertile field, darling dears. Earth energy. Earth is something tangible. Tangible in the form of what? Resources, darling dears. Security, support. But it also speaks about earth energies, decay and old age. Whatever it is that's coming for you is going to what? It's going to soften your old age, darling dears. You are about to be blessed in a major way. Do you think the star seed is going to be left here alone? Do you really think you are not going to be able to enjoy this 3D because of what you overcome? How now, brown cow? But you have a choice to make, Because that plea, this plea that's going to come through to you, darling dears, is going to be a health crisis on the lips of a scheming, jealous person or persons. You've already freed yourself. So you better get your gospel CDs out, right? Get Mary, Mary, right? And play, what was it? The Shackles Off My Feet and Wade in the Water. Yes, you better. You better get one of those slavery tracks on so you can hum it in the background. Yeah. Remember what you've been through. 107 in the chat. Do we not have another 8? 8 is very important, darling dears. 8 is a very lucky number. And did you know another track, a little thing, darling dears? Did you know you can change the energy of your house? Yes, by your door number, because your door number is very important. Say for instance, you live at I don't know, 27. The 2 and the 7 goes to a 9. 9 is a highly spiritual number, right? It's for the higher mind, it's for higher learning and everything, darling dears. But say you don't want to be the 9 anymore, you feel that you've learned enough, you can change it to a 10. You put the number on the inside of the door to make your door number into a 10. You know, underneath the mat? Change your energy, darling dears. On that note, I drops me mic. Toddle over to my Teesprings, my Patreon, or my TikToks. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Remember, big cat, buff up your third eye to a bitchin' shine and ask why now. Big cat wave.